Welcome to Starbound Valor HFY. Subscribe now and dive into daily epic sci-fi adventures where humanity always rises. It began on a quiet night, under a sky full of calm stars. The world below slept peacefully, unaware that something had already entered their space. High above the blue planet, in the cold darkness near the moon, a shadow moved. It wasn't a comet, not a rock, not anything built by humans. It moved slowly, carefully, almost like it was watching. The stars behind it disappeared for a second, as if something large and dark had swallowed them. Far away, inside a small observatory in the mountains of Chile, an old astronomer named Dr. Elias Grant looked through his telescope. His hand froze on the focus knob. What he saw made his breath catch in his throat. A formation of lights, 8, were drifting in perfect silence across the dark side of the moon. They weren't stars. They were moving in formation. He blinked, checked again, but they were still there. He whispered to himself, "That's not human." He turned on his camera, recording everything. The lights vanished suddenly. His screen turned black, static flickering for a moment, and then it came back on. But the lights were gone. He rubbed his eyes, confused. Seconds later, his power flickered, the monitor went off, and he felt something strange, a deep vibration in the air, like thunder without sound. Then everything went still. The next morning, his video went viral online. Thousands watched the strange lights above the moon, arguing if it was fake or real. News networks ignored it. Governments stayed silent. But in a few hours, the video disappeared from every platform. No one could find the original post. Dr. Grant tried to upload it again, but his account was gone. That night, a black car arrived at his observatory. The driver said nothing. Dr. Grant was never seen again. At the same time, in orbit around the moon, something enormous was unfolding. Behind the gray lunar shadows, a massive structure began to open, its surface glowing faint blue. From inside, smaller ships floated out, dark and quiet, shaped like silver daggers. They carried no light, no signal, nothing human could detect. The ships drifted closer to Earth's atmosphere. On the International Space Station, astronaut Commander Lewis noticed a sudden interference in their communication system. "Mission Control, are you receiving us?" No answer. Static filled the speakers. Then, through the observation window, he saw it, a faint ripple of light moving across space, like heat distortion, heading toward Earth. "What the hell is that?" he whispered. The cameras recorded, but the signal cut out before the image could reach Earth. Back on the ground, strange things began to happen. Birds started migrating in the wrong direction. Seismic sensors recorded deep vibrations under the Pacific Ocean, even though there were no earthquakes. In the deserts of Nevada, radar systems detected unknown blips, objects appearing and vanishing faster than light. The data was marked as classified. Military bases quietly went on alert. No one told the public. 3 days later, in a top-secret meeting room beneath Washington, a small group of scientists and generals watched the footage in silence. "Is this a test?" one of them asked. The general shook his head. "No country on Earth can move like this," he said. "Whatever this is, it's not human." They didn't know that at that very moment, in orbit, hundreds of alien drones were already positioning themselves like a net around Earth. In the alien mothership, hidden in the moon's shadow, a low hum filled the air. Tall, pale creatures with armor-like skin stood around a glowing table. Strange symbols floated in the air above it, showing the blue sphere of Earth. One of the aliens spoke in a deep, rumbling voice that echoed through the ship. "Phase 1 is complete. The planet is blind." Another nodded. "They will not understand until it is too late." Meanwhile, down on Earth, life continued as usual. People went to work, children went to school, and no one knew the sky had already changed. Only a few noticed strange patterns, stars blinking in odd rhythms, lights that didn't move like planes. Online, people joked about aliens again. But in hidden parts of the world, silent preparations had begun. Military satellites stopped transmitting. Communication between nations became unstable. In the middle of the night, in a quiet city apartment, Dr. Emma Clark, an astrophysicist, sat staring at her computer screen. She had been tracking the same strange signals for months, ever since the day Dr. Grant's video vanished. She believed his discovery was real. And now, the same pattern had appeared again, 8 signals moving near the moon, repeating the same pulse, 3 short, 1 long, 2 short. She decoded it into letters. It formed one word, observe. Emma leaned back in her chair, her heart racing. "They're watching us," she whispered. Suddenly, her lights flickered. Her laptop screen went black. A message appeared, typed by no one, "Do not interfere." She froze, her breath heavy. Then, just as suddenly, the screen returned to normal. The message was gone, like nothing had happened. Outside, the night sky was perfectly still. But far above, the dark ships had reached their final position. They circled Earth like silent predators waiting to strike. On the mothership, the alien commander raised one long hand, and the blue planet appeared in the holographic display again. "Begin Phase 2, he ordered. "Prepare the extraction." Back on Earth, no one could feel it yet. The clouds drifted gently. The oceans whispered against the shores. But the countdown had already started. Humanity slept peacefully beneath the stars, unaware that this would be the last calm night they would ever know. The sun rose peacefully over the horizon, painting the sky in gold and red. People went to work, children went to school, and life on Earth seemed perfectly normal. But above the clouds, far beyond the reach of human eyes, the sky was no longer theirs. The alien ships had begun to move. They were silent, invisible to radar, hidden behind layers of light-bending technology. To anyone watching from Earth, nothing looked wrong. But the invasion had already started. At exactly 7:14 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, the first sign appeared. Several satellites stopped transmitting at the same time. Space agencies around the world reported technical issues. Within minutes, over half of Earth's communication network went dark. Cell towers failed. GPS signals vanished. In cities across the globe, screens flickered, phones lost connection, and internet lines died without warning. No one understood what was happening. The world had gone quiet. In a control room deep inside NASA, technicians tried to restart the systems. "It's not a software glitch," one of them said, staring at the frozen monitors. "It's like something's blocking the signal." The director frowned. "Blocking it from where?" Before anyone could answer, a bright red alert flashed across every screen, orbital interference detected. The room went silent. Then, one by one, every monitor went black. In the Pacific Ocean, near Hawaii, a U.S. naval ship picked up strange readings. A cluster of objects was moving under the radar line, approaching fast. The ship's commander looked through the digital feed. There was nothing visible, just a blur in the water. Suddenly, the sea exploded. A massive shockwave hit the ship, throwing men off their feet. The ocean boiled with light as something huge rose from beneath the surface. It wasn't a submarine. It wasn't anything human. A metallic structure, shaped like a blade, broke through the water, glowing blue from its edges. Then it vanished into the clouds above. Across the world, chaos began. In Beijing, the power grid collapsed. In London, planes dropped out of the sky after losing all systems. In New York, every car and train stopped at the same moment. The world was being shut down one piece at a time. The news called it a global blackout. People filled the streets, confused and frightened. But this was not a natural event. It was an attack. High above, in orbit, the alien fleet opened its eyes. Thousands of small drones detached from the main ships and entered the atmosphere. They looked like falling stars at first, beautiful trails of light cutting through the clouds. People pointed and cheered, thinking it was a meteor shower. But the beauty lasted only seconds. The light stopped in midair, spread apart, and began descending slowly over major cities. In Washington, D.C., soldiers gathered near the Pentagon, watching the strange orbs float above the skyline. "Are they drones?" one asked. No one answered. Then, without warning, one of the glowing spheres released a pulse of blue energy. The sound was deep, like thunder tearing through the sky. Windows shattered across the city. The ground shook. The soldiers fell to their knees, their radios fried, their weapons useless. Then the pulse came again, stronger. Dr. Emma Clark sat in her dark apartment, watching through her window. She saw the lights forming patterns above the city, 3 short, 1 long, 2 short, the same message she had decoded before. Observe. But now the message changed. The pattern blinked again, spelling a new word, punishment. Emma's heart raced. She knew then that this was not a random attack. It was planned. They were targeting humanity itself. At the White House, an emergency meeting began underground. Generals, scientists, and political leaders argued in fear. "They're shutting down our world," said General Hayes, his voice cold. "This isn't war, it's execution." The president asked, "Can we fight back?" Hayes shook his head. "Not yet. They're too fast. They're inside our systems." Meanwhile, in Tokyo, a group of students filmed the glowing drones with their phones. The lights suddenly turned red. The drones split open like flowers, revealing sharp metallic wings. Then beams of energy shot down from the sky, burning through buildings like paper. The entire city lit up in flames. Panic spread instantly. The footage went viral before the internet died completely. The last words heard on live television were, "They're here." In the alien mothership, the commander watched the destruction through holographic projections. "The cleansing begins," he said in a voice that sounded like grinding metal. Another alien replied, "The planet is resisting." The commander's eyes glowed faintly. "They always resist," he said. "But they always fall." Back on Earth, Emma Clark hacked into an old satellite uplink. She was determined to find where the attack was coming from. Using ancient frequency codes, she found something unexpected, a hidden transmission bouncing between the moon and Earth. The data was enormous. But within the static, a voice emerged. It wasn't human. It spoke in deep, rhythmic tones. Emma recorded it and used her translation program. The words appeared on her screen, "Your world is a threat. Your kind must be contained." Tears filled her eyes. "They think we're dangerous," she whispered. She knew she needed to warn someone, anyone who could help. But when she reached for her phone, it was dead. The power was gone again. Outside, the city lights flickered once more, and then turned dark completely. Across the planet, silence fell. Smoke rose from burning cities. Governments could no longer communicate. The skies were full of glowing orbs, watching from above like eyes of judgment. Humanity was alone, broken, and blind. But somewhere deep beneath Antarctica, in a frozen military base, a massive machine began to hum. Its sensors activated, reading the atmosphere. Its core glowed faintly red. A deep mechanical voice spoke for the first time in decades, warning. "Earth under attack. Protocol Titan initializing." The ground trembled as snow cracked and shifted. The frozen wasteland began to move. Buried beneath miles of ice, something enormous was waking up, something built long ago in secret, waiting for this very day. Humanity didn't know it yet, but their last defense had just opened its eyes. The world was falling apart. Smoke rose from cities across the globe, satellites drifted dead in orbit, and communication between nations had gone silent. Every hour, more drones entered the atmosphere, striking with precision and vanishing into clouds before anyone could react. Governments were paralyzed, unsure who was in charge anymore. But far beneath the chaos, deep under a mountain in Colorado, the last surviving command center of the United Earth Defense Council flickered to life. Inside the underground base, tired faces glowed under dim red lights as generals and scientists gathered around a single large holographic table. On the screen floated a 3D model of Earth, half of it covered in burning red zones. General Hayes stood with both hands on the table, his jaw tight, eyes hollow from lack of sleep. "We've lost 50% of our defense systems," he said. "Asia, Europe, South America, all dark. They hit everything that could fight back." His voice was calm but heavy. The president, speaking from a flickering emergency feed, asked, "Can we respond?" Hayes looked at the scientists across the room. One of them shook her head. "Our missiles can't lock on. Their ships distort radar and light. It's like trying to shoot at shadows." The silence in the room was suffocating. Everyone knew the truth, they were outmatched. The president finally said, "Then we fight with whatever's left. We can't surrender." Hayes nodded slowly. "We won't." Meanwhile, Dr. Emma Clark was escorted into the base by military guards. She looked exhausted, still wearing the same clothes she had during the attack. She carried a small drive in her hand. "I have something," she said quickly, walking straight to the command table. "It's not much, but I think I've decoded part of their signal." The scientists leaned forward. She plugged in the drive, and a series of alien symbols filled the holographic screen. "This transmission is repeating between their ships and something beneath the moon's surface," she explained. "It's not random, it's structured communication." One of the officers frowned. "Meaning what?" Emma hesitated. "Meaning they're not just attacking. They're taking something. Extracting energy or information from our planet. I don't know what yet, but they called it a containment protocol." The room went cold. Hayes asked quietly, "Containment of what?" Emma looked up. "Us." Hayes walked to a small secure door at the back of the room. He placed his hand on a scanner, and the door opened with a hiss. "There's something you all need to see," he said. The room led into a lower chamber lit with blue lights. Inside was a massive steel platform, surrounded by cables and glass panels. At its center, a frozen core pulsed faintly with red energy. "This," Hayes said, "is Project Titan." The scientist stared in silence. "Built in secret 25 years ago," he continued, "after we found alien ruins on Mars. We didn't understand the technology completely, but we learned enough to create this, our last line of defense." Emma walked closer, her eyes wide. "It's a machine?" Hayes shook his head. "Not just a machine. It's part biological, part synthetic. It's designed to adapt, to learn, and to fight anything not from Earth. We buried it deep under Antarctica to keep it hidden." As he spoke, the lights flickered again, and alarms echoed through the base. "Incoming attack," shouted a soldier. "They found us." Hayes turned sharply. "Get the activation team ready." The ground shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. On the monitors, several alien drones were seen diving through the clouds, heading straight for the mountain. "How long until Titan is online?" Emma asked. 5 minutes if we're lucky," Hayes replied. 3 if we're not." Explosions thundered outside as shockwaves tore through the mountain. Soldiers ran to defense stations, firing railguns into the sky, but the alien drones moved like ghosts. Inside the control room, Hayes slammed his hand on the table. "Activate Titan," he ordered. Engineers rushed to their panels, typing furiously. Energy surged through the base, shaking the walls. The red core on the platform began to glow brighter, spreading veins of light across the metal floor. The computer voice echoed, "Power transfer initiated. Awakening sequence at 20%. Emma could feel the vibration through the floor. It wasn't mechanical, it felt alive, like something breathing under the surface. Outside, alien beams tore through the mountain's surface, melting steel and rock. The command center trembled as systems failed one by one. "We're running out of time," shouted an officer. Hayes looked at Emma. "You said they were watching us. Let them watch this." Another explosion rocked the room. Fire and smoke filled the air. Then, a deep, resonant sound came from below. A rumbling that didn't sound like destruction, it sounded like awakening. The holographic table flickered back on, displaying a glowing outline of a massive humanoid shape buried deep beneath the ice. Awakening sequence at 70%, the computer announced. Emma stared at the display in awe. "It's alive," she whispered. "Titan is alive." The last generator exploded, plunging the room into darkness. Only the red glow from the core remained. The soldiers held their breath as the sound grew louder, deeper, shaking every wall of the mountain. Then the voice came, not human, but powerful, calm, and deep. Designation: Protector of Earth. Awakening sequence complete. The entire mountain erupted in light. Outside, the ground split apart as a massive metallic hand broke through the ice. The alien drones turned, scanning the sudden energy burst. A shadow rose from beneath the snow, taller than any building, glowing with lines of red and blue across its body. Titan's eyes opened for the first time, shining like twin stars. The alien ships began to retreat, but Titan raised its arm, and the sky itself seemed to hum. A pulse of energy blasted outward, destroying everything within miles. The drones vanished instantly, reduced to ash. Inside the damaged command center, Hayes and Emma stared at the screens. The readings were off the scale. "It's awake," Emma said softly. Hayes nodded slowly, unable to look away. "Then maybe," he said, "we still have a chance." Above the burning mountains, Titan stood tall against the storm, staring into the sky where the alien fleet hovered far above the clouds. Its voice echoed through every frequency, human and alien alike. Target identified. Counterstrike authorized. The blizzard above Antarctica raged violently, lightning flashing across the sky, but beneath that storm stood something far greater than nature itself. Project Titan had risen from the ice after decades of silence. Its metallic body, covered in frost and glowing red lines, pulsed with energy. Each movement shook the ground as if the planet itself was responding to its awakening. Around it, the shattered remains of the mountain still burned, smoke curling into the frozen air. The last of the alien drones hovered nearby, scanning the giant machine with beams of light. They had never seen anything like it before. Titan's eyes turned toward them, glowing brighter with each second. For a moment, the world seemed to pause. Then Titan moved. A single step sent a shockwave through the ice, cracking glaciers for miles. The alien drones reacted instantly, firing blue energy bolts toward the giant, but the blasts vanished against Titan's invisible barrier. Sparks danced around its body, and then Titan raised its right hand. A circular field formed in the air, humming with power. With a deep metallic voice that seemed to echo inside the minds of every human within range, Titan spoke its first command: "Threat detected. Neutralization initiated." The circular field fired, and the sky turned white. Every drone disintegrated in an instant, leaving behind only falling snow. In the underground command center, alarms were still blaring. The ceiling had collapsed in several places, but General Hayes and Dr. Emma Clark were still alive, covered in dust. The emergency lights flickered weakly. "Is it still online?" Hayes shouted. A surviving engineer looked at the cracked monitor and said, "Yes, sir. Titan's core is stable. It's fully awake." Hayes walked toward the observation screen, wiping ash from his face. Outside, the entire sky glowed red from Titan's energy. "My God," he whispered. "It's beautiful." Emma stared in awe. "It's thinking," she said softly. "It's analyzing the enemy." Titan turned its gaze upward. Thousands of miles above, the alien fleet had begun to regroup. Massive ships aligned in formation, preparing another assault. Inside their mothership, the alien commander watched the Earth feed with cold, calculating eyes. "They have activated a weapon," one of his lieutenants said. The commander leaned forward. "A weapon built from our own lost technology," he replied. "I can feel the resonance. They found something they were never meant to find." His tone shifted to anger. "Destroy it before it adapts." Back on Earth, the alien ships descended again, tearing through clouds like silver blades. Titan sensors tracked them all. The human command center received a data feed directly from Titan's core. It's sharing information, Emma said in shock. It's showing us their flight paths, their energy readings, it's communicating. The screen's filled with alien data translated into human language. They're coming in fast, Hayes said. Can Titan handle that many? Emma looked at the energy readings. If it's what I think it is, yes. The alien ships opened fire. Beams of blue light rained down from the heavens, each one powerful enough to destroy a city. Titan raised both arms, and the air rippled like water. A massive dome of energy formed over Antarctica. The beam struck it, exploding into flashes of light that could be seen from space, but the shield held. Ice melted into steam, snow turned to rain, yet Titan stood untouched. Then, from deep inside its chest, a red glow began to form. The glow grew brighter and brighter until it burst outward like a heartbeat. A red shockwave spread across the planet's upper atmosphere, interfering with alien sensors. They've lost their targeting systems, shouted one of the officers in the control room. Hayes grinned slightly for the first time in days. Good. Let's give them something to fear. Inside the mothership, the alien commander felt the energy pulse. Impossible, he growled. It's learning from us. His second-in-command trembled. Should we retreat? The commander slammed his clawed hand on the table. No. Increase power. Send in the harvesters. From orbit, 3 massive vessels detached from the mothership. Each was larger than a mountain, glowing with veins of blue and black. They entered the atmosphere, surrounded by storms of lightning. Titan watched them descend. Its voice came again, deep and unshaken, multiple hostiles detected. Energy level increasing. Its eyes shifted from red to white. The ground trembled as massive plates on its back opened, revealing weapons that had never been tested before. 2 enormous cannons rose, glowing like molten stars. The ice cracked as Titan knelt slightly, aiming upward. A rumbling sound filled the air, low and growing, until it felt like the planet itself was roaring. Then Titan fired. The twin beams tore through the sky, splitting clouds apart, cutting straight through the first harvester. The alien ship exploded in a blinding flash, the shockwave reaching all the way to the horizon. The second and third ships dodged aside, but their armor melted from the residual heat. Inside the command base, Emma could barely stand from the vibration. That's not just energy, she shouted over the noise. It's using quantum resonance. It's bending space. Hayes looked amazed. It's fighting like it was made to do this. The remaining alien ships retreated higher, out of the atmosphere. The commander stared at the destruction on his screen. End the assault, he ordered bitterly. They have awakened something beyond their control. His eyes narrowed. But they cannot control it forever. The transmission ended. As the skies cleared, Titan stood motionless, smoke rising from its armor. Slowly, the red glow on its body faded to a calm blue. The energy dome disappeared, and the storm began to quiet. In the command base, silence filled the room. The surviving soldiers and scientists looked at the monitors showing Titan's figure against the dawn light. Emma smiled faintly. It protected us, she said softly. Hayes nodded. It's not just a weapon, it's a guardian. Titan's voice came again, quieter now, almost human. Humanity status, critical. Defense phase complete. Awaiting further instruction. Hayes looked at Emma. Can we talk to it? She nodded slowly, typing into the console. Maybe. But it's thinking faster than we can. The radio buzzed with static, then Titan's voice returned. I was made from your hands and your fears. I exist because you knew this day would come. Emma felt chills run through her body. She whispered, it remembers. Hayes stepped closer to the monitor. Titan, he said, we need your help. The war isn't over yet. Titan paused. Then its eyes brightened again, glowing red. Acknowledged, it said. Target lock initiated. Enemy command detected. Far above, in the void of space, the alien mothership began to glow. Titan had found it. And for the first time in history, humanity wasn't just defending itself, it was preparing to strike back. The world was no longer silent. Across the planet, people stared at the sky, watching red and blue lights flash above the clouds. Titan's awakening had become visible to everyone. Cameras captured its giant form standing tall in the Antarctic snow, glowing like a god of fire and ice. The last surviving communication satellites relayed the footage, and for the first time since the invasion began, humanity saw hope. News stations that still had power replayed the same image again and again, a towering machine defending Earth against the unknown. People cheered through tears, not knowing how long it would last. In the hidden command center, General Hayes stood before the main screen, eyes locked on Titan's readings. Energy output is stabilizing, reported a scientist. But its core temperature is climbing fast. Hayes nodded. Keep monitoring it. We need Titan alive if we're going to hit them back. Dr. Emma Clark sat at a side console, typing rapidly. Titan is communicating through frequencies we can barely detect, she said. It's scanning every satellite, every sensor we have left. It's learning everything about us. Hayes looked at her. Is that good or bad? She took a breath. Both. Far above Earth, the alien mothership floated in the blackness of space. Its hull glowed with shifting lights, like living skin. Inside, the alien commander stared at the holographic image of Earth. They've turned one of our relics against us, he said coldly. Unacceptable. His second-in-command asked, shall we destroy it now? The commander's eyes narrowed. We will crush their protector, then burn their world to dust. Outside, the alien fleet began to realign, forming attack formations. Massive cannons unfolded from their sides, each one charging with blinding blue energy. They were preparing to strike again, but this time, they were not facing an unarmed planet. Titan raised its head as if sensing their movements. A low hum vibrated through its core, and the snow beneath its feet melted from the heat. Its eyes glowed red again. Incoming threat detected, the deep voice echoed through the base's speakers. Engaging counterstrike. On the screens, energy readings spiked higher than ever before. Emma's eyes widened. It's opening the shield again. Outside, the clouds began to swirl around Titan as arcs of electricity crackled through the air. A beam of red light shot from Titan's chest, piercing the clouds and extending into space like a glowing spear. It's scanning the fleet, Hayes said quietly. Finding targets. In orbit, alien ships suddenly went dark one by one. Their systems flickered as Titan's energy pulse disrupted their technology. The alien commander shouted orders, but interference filled their comms. Their signal is penetrating our defenses, yelled one of the alien pilots. Impossible, the commander roared. Regain control. But it was too late. Titan's voice thundered again, lock confirmed. Authorization, human survival protocol. The sky above Earth exploded in color. From the center of Titan's back, massive engines unfolded, firing columns of flame and plasma. Slowly, impossibly, Titan began to rise from the ground. The snowstorm scattered in all directions as the giant machine lifted into the air. It's flying, whispered Emma, unable to believe what she was seeing. The command center shook from the force. Altitude increasing, 10,000 meters, 20,000, 30,000, Titans entering the upper atmosphere, shouted an officer. Hayes clenched his fists. Let them see what Earth is made of. Up in space, the alien fleet opened fire. Blue beams cut through the void, each one powerful enough to pierce mountains. Titan twisted through the assault, moving faster than anyone thought possible for something its size. It raised an arm and caught one of the beams on its shield, deflecting it back toward a cruiser. The alien ship exploded instantly, lighting up the darkness. Titan charged forward, breaking through debris, its body glowing brighter with every second. Inside the mothership, alarms blared. It's coming straight for us, cried an alien officer. The commander bared his teeth. Then meet it head-on. Hundreds of fighters launched from the mothership like a swarm of silver arrows. Titan met them in the middle of space. For a moment, the battle looked like a storm of light, red and blue energy colliding, ships bursting into flames, silent explosions flashing across the stars. Titan extended one hand, releasing a gravitational pulse that crushed the enemy ships like paper. Its voice echoed again, human defense systems reactivated. Earth's shield online. On the planet below, the sky glowed red as a massive energy field surrounded Earth. For the first time, no alien weapon could touch it. People stepped outside, staring at the strange lights above. They didn't know the science, but they understood one thing: the planet was fighting back. Across every surviving city, cheers erupted, echoing through ruins and smoke. "We're still here," whispered a mother holding her child. "We're still alive." In the control base, Emma's fingers flew over the keyboard. "Titan is drawing power from Earth's magnetic field," she said. "It's connecting directly to the planet." Hayes frowned. "Won't that drain us?" Emma shook her head. "It's not draining, it's synchronizing. It's merging with Earth's heartbeat." In orbit, Titan faced the mothership directly now. The alien commander stood at his console, glaring at the screen. "Primitive creatures," he hissed. "You think a stolen machine makes you gods?" Titan's eyes glowed white as it raised both arms. "You attacked my creators," it said in a voice that made even the stars seem to tremble. "Now face their wrath." A massive beam of light erupted from Titan's core, striking the mothership dead center. For a moment, space itself seemed to twist. The mothership's hull melted, its shields collapsing under the immense pressure. The commander screamed as the control room filled with fire. The ship broke apart, fragments scattering like burning stars. In the command center, the energy reading spiked off the charts. "Direct hit," shouted a soldier. "The mothership is breaking apart." Cheers erupted in the room, but Emma noticed something on the screen. "Wait. Titan's energy is dropping fast. It used too much power." Hayes looked at her sharply. "Can it recover?" She hesitated. "I don't know." Above Earth, Titan floated among the debris, its lights flickering. Smoke drifted from its armor. Slowly, it began descending toward the atmosphere again. "Mission status," it said weakly. "Enemy fleet neutralized. Threat level reduced." Hayes listened through the speakers, his expression hardening. "You did it, Titan," he said softly. "You saved us." But Titan's voice came again, quieter now. "Primary core unstable. Repair required." Its massive body entered the clouds, vanishing from view as it fell gently back to Antarctica. The world below waited in silence, unsure if the Guardian would rise again. Emma placed a hand over her heart. "Rest, Titan," she whispered. "We'll finish what you started." High above, in the dark emptiness of space, the wreckage of the alien mothership drifted silently. Then, deep within the debris, a small pod detached, glowing faintly blue. It turned and flew away from Earth's orbit at incredible speed. The invasion was not over. The galaxy had seen Earth's retaliation, and now, it would never forget. Snow fell heavily over the Antarctic once again, covering the battlefield where Titan had first risen. The massive machine now lay half buried in ice, its body dim, its glowing eyes dark for the first time since the war began. The storm howled across the frozen plains, but Titan made no sound. For days, satellites had searched for any signs of energy coming from it. There were none. The world below celebrated its victory, but deep down, everyone knew the silence was not peace. Something was still out there. In the command center, General Hayes leaned over the main display. "Titan systems are cold," he muttered. "No signal, no movement. It's like it shut itself off." Dr. Emma Clark stood beside him, her face pale. "No," she said softly. "Titan isn't dead. It's recovering. It used too much energy in the last fight, it's healing." The general frowned. "Healing? It's a machine, not a person." Emma looked at him, eyes determined. Then explain this. She turned a dial, showing live sensor readings. Titan's core is still pulsing. Slow, but steady. It's not dead, it's dreaming. Meanwhile, high above Earth, the galaxy was watching. Deep in the void beyond Mars, the survivors of the alien fleet regrouped. Their leader, wounded but alive, floated inside a smaller command ship. "They have the machine," he hissed. "They used one of our relics to destroy us." His second-in-command bowed his head. "What do we do now?" The leader turned toward the hologram of Earth glowing before him. "We do what we always do. We adapt. We evolve. And then we take back what is ours." The remaining fleet began transmitting a signal, a call for reinforcements. Across the stars, faraway civilizations received it. Some ignored it, but others listened. The message was simple: the humans have awakened the forbidden weapon. The galaxy trembled. Some feared Earth, others wanted to destroy it. But everyone now knew that humanity was no longer defenseless. Back on Earth, the world was trying to rebuild. Cities damaged by the first invasion were slowly coming back to life. People helped one another, sharing food, power, and shelter. For the first time, humans united as one species. Old enemies worked side by side. Flags didn't matter anymore, only survival did. But while people celebrated, Emma couldn't rest. Every night, she studied Titan's data, searching for clues about its purpose. One night, as she was analyzing the core readings, something strange happened. The signal pattern changed. The rhythm of Titan's pulse matched the electromagnetic waves of the Earth's magnetic field. "It's syncing again," she whispered. "But with what?" Suddenly, her computer flickered. A deep voice echoed from the speakers, the same one that had once spoken through Titan. "Dr. Clark." She froze. "Titan? Is that you?" "You must prepare," it said. "They are coming again. And this time, they are not alone." Emma's heart pounded. "Who's coming? The same aliens?" The voice was fading. "No. Others, older than them. The architects." The signal cut out. The room went dark. Emma stared at the blank screen, fear and awe mixing in her chest. She immediately rushed to the control room, where Hayes and his team were reviewing satellite footage. "General, Titan just communicated with me," she said breathlessly. Hayes looked at her sharply. "What do you mean?" "It's been offline for days." She nodded. "Not anymore. It said there's a new threat coming, something called the Architects." The room went silent. "Architects?" Hayes repeated. "What are they?" Emma shook her head. "I don't know." But Titan sounded afraid. A few hours later, strange signals appeared across the outer edges of the solar system. They weren't like the previous ones. These were more complex, more powerful, and they didn't match any known pattern. "Multiple objects approaching," said a radar officer. "They're huge. Bigger than the alien motherships." Hayes stared at the screen. "How long until they reach Earth?" The officer swallowed hard. "Less than 72 hours. Hayes turned to Emma. "Wake Titan. Now." She shook her head. "We can't. Its core temperature is too unstable. If we force it, it might burn out completely." Hayes slammed his hand on the table. "Then we'll lose before the fight even starts." But something unexpected happened. Without anyone touching it, Titan's energy readings began to climb. The ice around it started to crack. Lightning flashed across the sky. Emma's eyes widened. "It's waking itself up." A deep rumble shook the ground, and the snow exploded outward. Titan rose again, its eyes glowing bright white this time instead of red. The voice boomed across every radio and device on Earth: "Humanity, stand together. The Architects approach." The entire planet heard it. People stopped what they were doing, staring at the sky. It was as if the Earth itself had spoken through Titan. In orbit, massive shadows appeared beyond the moon. They were unlike anything seen before, structures that looked more like moving cities than ships. They emitted no light, no sound, only gravity waves that made the planet's crust tremble. Emma looked at the readings and whispered, "These aren't just invaders, they're builders. They make worlds." Hayes turned to her. "Or they destroy them." The architect's ships slowly entered the atmosphere, each 1 mile long. Instead of weapons, they released dark mist-like clouds that spread across the skies, blocking sunlight. Within minutes, half the world was covered in shadow. Plants began to wither. Temperatures dropped. "They're changing the planet's environment," said Emma. "They're making it unlivable for us." Hayes clenched his fists. "Then Titan is our only chance." Down in Antarctica, Titan spread its arms, absorbing lightning from the storm above. Its body shone brighter than ever before. "Activating planetary defense," it declared. "Human link required." Emma stepped closer to the console. "What does it mean?" The computer displayed a line of text, "Neural interface needed for synchronization." She realized the truth: Titan couldn't fight alone. It needed a human mind to guide it. Hayes looked at her. "You can't be serious. That could kill you." Emma smiled faintly. "Titan saved us. Now it's my turn to save it." She put on the neural headset, connecting directly to Titan's consciousness. The moment she did, her vision filled with light. She could see everything: the oceans, the cities, the sky above Earth. She could feel Titan's power coursing through her. Its voice spoke inside her mind. "Welcome, Dr. Clark. Together, we will protect your world." Emma's heart raced as she looked through Titan's eyes. "Let's finish this." Titan rose higher into the atmosphere, its engines roaring like thunder. As the architect's ships descended, the two forces faced each other for the first time. Humanity watched from below, holding its breath. The next battle wasn't just for Earth, it was for the right to exist. Titan, now bonded with Emma, spread its wings of light and charged into the sky. The turning point had come. Humanity was no longer a victim. It was becoming something far more powerful, and the galaxy would soon learn what that truly meant. The sky burned with light as Titan soared upward, its body surrounded by blazing energy. The world below watched in silence as the machine, guided now by Emma Clark's mind, rose to meet the approaching invaders. Through Titan's eyes, Emma saw the massive shapes above, colossal ships made of dark metal and living stone, stretching for miles. These were not just vessels. They were moving fortresses, each pulsing with ancient power. The architects had arrived, and their presence made the stars themselves seem small. Their ships emitted a low, endless hum that resonated through the air and the earth below, shaking mountains and seas. Emma could feel it through Titan's sensors. It wasn't just sound, it was a language. They were speaking to the planet. "They're not attacking," Emma whispered. "They're communicating." Titan's voice echoed in her mind. "They speak in frequencies of creation. But their message is destruction." From orbit, one of the gigantic ships unfolded its structure like a flower opening its petals. Inside, a glowing sphere of energy appeared, spinning faster and faster. Titan's sensors detected the buildup. "They are preparing to rewrite the planet's surface," it warned. Emma's heart pounded. "Then we stop them before they begin." Titan's engines roared, leaving trails of plasma behind as it charged toward the nearest ship. The architects reacted immediately. Energy tendrils extended from the ship's sides, wrapping through space like serpents. Titan swung its arm, slicing through one with a beam of red light, but 3 more struck its armor, sending sparks flying. Emma gritted her teeth. She could feel every impact, every strain of the machine's body. "Stay focused," Titan said. "Your mind controls our movements now." Emma nodded, merging deeper into the connection. Her heartbeat synced with Titan's core. The two forces collided in orbit with a flash so bright it could be seen from Earth. Millions of people stared up at the sky, seeing the heavens flash red and blue like a storm of gods. "Titans engaging the enemy," shouted a soldier in the command base. General Hayes leaned forward, eyes locked on the monitor. Hold, Titan. Hold. The fight was unlike any before. The architects' weapons weren't made of energy or metal, they manipulated gravity itself. When they attacked, space twisted around them, bending light and matter. Titan systems screamed under the pressure. They're trying to crush us, Emma said, struggling to breathe. Adjusting field harmonics, Titan responded. Countering gravity distortion. Its armor plates shifted, and a wave of light rippled outward, stabilizing the space around them. Then Titan returned fire, a beam of pure plasma that tore through one of the smaller architect ships. The explosion was silent but immense, scattering molten fragments into the void. Inside one of the massive architect vessels, a being unlike any seen before stirred. It was tall, almost liquid in form, its body made of shifting light and shadow. It had no face, yet Emma could feel its gaze upon her. A voice entered her mind, not Titan's, but something older, colder. Human child, you command what you do not understand. Emma gasped. Who are you? We are the architects, the voice said. We built the machines that built your world. You were never meant to awaken them. Emma's blood ran cold. You built Titan? Yes. It was one of many guardians placed to preserve the seed worlds. But your kind corrupted it with fear and war. The voice grew darker. Now, we erase our mistake. Titan systems flared as the architect's telepathic power tried to invade its circuits. Emma screamed, holding her head. Resist, Titan said. Do not let them inside your mind. The alien presence pressed harder, showing Emma visions, entire planets crumbling under the architect's rule, civilizations erased, stars turned dark. This is the future of all who defy us, the voice whispered. Emma gritted her teeth, tears in her eyes. Not this time, she said. Not my planet. She unleashed all her focus through the neural link, channeling her determination into Titan. The machine's eyes blazed white. Energy surged through every fiber of its body. Titan broke free of the architect's control and punched forward, shattering the tendrils around it. The backlash sent ripples through space. The architect's ship reeled, its surface cracking. Titan seized the moment, charging a massive blast from its chest. For Earth, Emma whispered. The beam fired, piercing through the enemy's core. The explosion illuminated the entire side of the planet. One of the architect's great ships was gone. But the victory came at a price. Titan systems began to overload. Energy levels critical, the computer warned. We cannot sustain this output. Emma felt the burning heat through the neural link. Just a little longer, she said. Down on Earth, Hayes and his team watched in horror as new signatures appeared on the radar, dozens of new ships, even larger than the first wave. They're multiplying, said an officer. We're surrounded. Hayes clenched his jaw. Titan can't take them all. But Emma wasn't listening anymore. Through Titan, she was connected to something deeper, the planet itself. She could hear its magnetic pulse, its heartbeat. Titan, she said. You said we're linked to Earth. Can we use that connection? It is dangerous, Titan warned. But possible. Emma closed her eyes. Do it. Titan's armor glowed brighter than ever before as it began channeling energy from the Earth's magnetic field. The auroras in the sky went wild, painting the atmosphere in brilliant colors. Lightning storms erupted across the globe. People everywhere looked up as the skies danced with power. The architects seemed to sense what was coming. Their ships shifted formation, retreating slightly. They're afraid, Emma realized. They should be, Titan said. Then Titan released everything. A massive surge of electromagnetic energy spread outward, passing through the atmosphere, reaching the architect's fleet. One by one, their ships faltered, lights dying, hulls disintegrating under the sheer force. The shockwave continued past the moon, through the darkness, erasing everything in its path. For a moment, there was silence. Then, slowly, the skies cleared. Only one architect ship remained, drifting weakly. From within it, the same cold voice spoke one last time. You have delayed the inevitable. The galaxy will come for you. The ship turned and vanished into deep space, leaving behind a trail of fading light. Titan floated quietly now, its energy nearly gone. Emma's breathing slowed. We did it, she whispered. For now, Titan replied. But their warning is true. Others will come. Stronger. Wiser. Emma smiled faintly, tears glistening in her eyes. Then we'll be ready. As Titan descended slowly toward Earth, the sun broke through the clouds, shining over the recovering world. Humanity had faced the wrath of the architects and survived. For the first time, the galaxy knew that humans were not weak, they were unstoppable when united. But somewhere, far beyond the stars, new eyes were watching. The war for Earth was over. The war for the galaxy had just begun. Days passed after the great battle, but the world still carried the scars of war. Skies were torn by strange colors, and the oceans glowed faintly at night from the energy storms Titan had unleashed. People began rebuilding their homes, but no one could forget the light that had burned in the heavens. Titan rested once more in the Antarctic, half buried in ice, its body silent but intact. For the people of Earth, it had become a symbol, proof that humanity could stand against the impossible. Yet beneath the surface, deep inside Titan's core, something stirred. The machine was not asleep. It was listening. Far beyond Earth's orbit, faint signals echoed through the void, whispers from dying architect ships, fragments of messages carried by radiation. Titan's sensors caught them, analyzing every frequency. They are not gone, Titan said quietly within its systems. They have left something behind. Dr. Emma Clark woke up suddenly in her quarters, her head pounding. She had been dreaming again, of light, of strange symbols that danced across endless stars. Ever since she connected with Titan's neural link, her mind had changed. She could still hear faint echoes of its thoughts, even without the headset. Sometimes she saw visions through its eyes, as if part of her was still inside the machine. She walked to the control room, where General Hayes stood over the global map. You're awake, he said. You should rest. Emma shook her head. I can't. Titan's picking up something, transmissions from deep space. Hayes frowned. More invaders? No, she replied slowly. Something older. It's like memories. Data left behind by the architects before they died. Hayes crossed his arms. You think it's a trap? Emma stared at the screen, where strange patterns blinked in repeating rhythm. Maybe. But what if it's not? What if it's knowledge? For the next few days, Emma worked nonstop to decode the signals. The patterns seemed random at first, but then she noticed a structure. It's not language, she explained to her team. It's code, a form of cosmic mathematics. And look at this, it's describing a location. Hayes leaned closer. Where? Emma zoomed in on the holographic map. A single glowing point appeared on the edge of the solar system. There, she said. Beyond Neptune. Something's out there. Hayes exhaled slowly. And you think it's one of theirs? No, Emma said softly. I think it's one of ours. Titan's origin. The revelation spread quickly through the base. A small task force was organized to investigate. They called it Project Echo. A ship named Valiant was prepared, Earth's first deep space exploration vessel rebuilt from the alien technology scavenged from the fallen fleet. Emma volunteered to join the mission, despite Hayes' protests. You've already risked your life once, he said. Let someone else go. She shook her head. Titan chose me. If this message is connected to it, I need to see it. Before departure, she visited Titan one last time. The giant stood motionless, surrounded by wind and snow. Emma placed her hand on its leg. We're going to find your past, she whispered. For a brief moment, its eyes flickered faintly, and a low voice echoed in her mind. Do not seek what is lost. Some truths are buried for a reason. The Valiant launched a week later, carrying Emma and a small crew of scientists and engineers. As the ship moved beyond Mars, the stars grew sharper and colder. The signal from deep space grew stronger. "It's guiding us," Emma said as they approached Neptune's orbit. "Whatever's sending this wants us to find it." Suddenly, the instruments began to flicker. The readings went wild. "We're losing control," shouted the pilot. A massive gravitational field pulled them toward an invisible point in space. "Hold steady," Emma cried. Then, out of nowhere, a colossal structure appeared before them, dark, ancient, rotating slowly in the blackness. It was shaped like a ring, big enough to swallow cities. Its surface shimmered with patterns that looked almost alive. "My God," whispered one of the crew. "What is it?" Emma stared in awe. "It's a gateway," she said. The Valiant drifted closer, lights reflecting off the strange surface. As they passed near the edge, the ship's systems synced automatically. "It's reading us," said the pilot. "It's welcoming us." Before they could react, the gateway activated. A sphere of light formed in its center, pulling the ship forward. "Brace yourselves," Emma shouted. There was a blinding flash, and then silence. When the light faded, they found themselves in a different part of space entirely. The stars looked unfamiliar. In front of them floated a planet-sized construct, a broken world made of metal and stone, orbiting a dead sun. "It's a machine world," Emma said softly. "Maybe this is where the architects were created." The ship descended toward the surface. As they landed, dust clouds rose from the metallic plains. The ground was covered in massive ruins, towers that had fallen ages ago, and strange symbols glowing faintly on the ground. Emma stepped out, her boots clanging against the cold metal. "It's beautiful," she whispered. As they explored, they discovered massive statues resembling Titan, but older, more alien. Each had a glowing crystal embedded in its chest, cracked and dark. "They were guardians," said Emma. "There must have been hundreds of them." Then they found something that froze them all, a large chamber deep underground, still active. In its center was a massive core, pulsing slowly like a heart. "Titan's signal is coming from here," said the technician. "It's broadcasting memories." Emma approached the core and placed her hand on it. Instantly, her vision exploded with light. She saw flashes of the past, the architects creating the Titans as protectors, then growing fearful of their own creations. She saw the Titans rebel, defending living worlds against their makers. The architects destroyed most of them, sealing away the survivors on distant planets as guardians. Earth's Titan was one of the last. Then, a voice echoed in her mind, the same ancient tone from before. "You have awakened the forgotten. The cycle begins anew." Emma gasped, pulling her hand away. The core's glow brightened. "It's activating," shouted a crew member. The ground trembled as energy surged through the ruins. "We need to leave." The Valiant lifted off as the planet's surface began to crack, revealing blinding light beneath. As they escaped into space, Emma looked back. The world behind them was collapsing, transforming. A single giant shape rose from the surface, another Titan, black as night, its eyes glowing blue. "It's alive," Emma whispered. The machine turned its head, staring directly at their ship. For a long moment, it didn't move. Then a signal came through their systems, loud and clear. "Earth's guardian has awoken. I am its shadow." The transmission ended, and the new Titan vanished into hyperspace. Emma sank into her seat, trembling. "It's not over," she said. "We didn't find answers. We found another war." The echoes of the fallen had been heard, and something far greater than the architects had just awakened in response. The emptiness of space felt heavier than ever as the Valiant drifted silently away from the machine world. Emma Clark's hands trembled on the console, her eyes wide from the visions she had just witnessed. Behind them, the metallic planet was collapsing, energy tearing through its surface, but from the ruins rose something massive, a shadowy silhouette against the dying sun. It moved slowly at first, then with purpose, its enormous limbs cutting through the dark void. Emma's heart pounded. "That's another Titan," she whispered. The sensors confirmed it, immense power readings, energy signature unlike anything on Earth. Its presence alone was enough to warp space around it. "It is alive," Titan's voice spoke inside her mind, resonating from the neural link she still carried. "It is the Shadow Titan, built to punish, built to destroy what we protect." General Hayes, monitoring from Earth, received fragments of the transmission. The Valiant's link was unstable, but the data that came through was terrifying. "Shadow Titan," he repeated, rubbing his forehead. "How many of these things exist?" Emma's voice came over the comms. "I don't know. But this one is different. It's older, more advanced. The architects created it to counter Guardians like Titan. If it reaches Earth, we're not ready." Hayes clenched his fists. "Then we need Titan back online. Now." Back in Antarctica, Titan's armor still rested in ice, dimly glowing from its core. Sensors picked up the energy surge from the Shadow Titan approaching. "Threat detected," Titan's voice echoed within the base. Emma connected her neural link remotely, feeling the machine's awareness merge with hers. "Titan," she whispered. "It's coming for us." The machine stirred, snow cascading from its shoulders. "I know. Its intent is to destroy the world. I will rise. Prepare humanity." The ground trembled as its legs pushed against the frozen earth, cracks forming miles away. It was a slow awakening, deliberate, but unstoppable. Meanwhile, in the void between Neptune and Saturn, the Shadow Titan accelerated. Its black armor shimmered with a deep blue glow, and it moved like a predator hunting prey. Energy waves pulsed from it, crushing small asteroids and warping nearby space. Its sensors locked onto Earth, reading the magnetic field, gravitational pull, and the signature of Titan's neural link. Guardian detected. Primary target, humanity, its voice boomed, ancient and merciless. Crew aboard the Valiant watched in disbelief. "It's coming straight at us," shouted the pilot. Emma gritted her teeth. "We need to warn Earth. Titan can't reach it in time without guidance." The journey back to Earth became a race against time. Shadow Titan's speed defied comprehension, covering millions of kilometers in hours. Satellites monitoring deep space could barely track its approach. Across continents, people felt the disturbance in subtle ways. Storms intensified, tides shifted, the auroras danced wildly, and birds flew in panic. Nature itself seemed to recognize the coming danger. Emma worked frantically on the neural interface from the Valiant. She began sending coded signals to Titan, guiding its core systems remotely. "Rise," she commanded through the link. "Earth needs you." Titan responded slowly at first, then with sudden speed. Its enormous body tore through the ice, steam rising as it moved toward launch. Weapons extended from its shoulders and back, energy charging along every circuit. "Humanity's protector," it said, voice stronger than before, engaging primary defense. The air around Antarctica shook violently as Titan's energy field expanded, a shimmering dome visible from hundreds of kilometers away. People watching from nearby settlements stood in awe, feeling the immense presence. High above, Shadow Titan's approach disrupted the atmosphere. Its steps caused gravity fluctuations, tearing open storms across the Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans. The Earth groaned beneath the weight of its power. Titan sensors struggled to keep pace. Emma, linked inside its consciousness, could feel its hesitation. "It is stronger than we imagined," she whispered. "We must focus every resource. Target its weak points." The Shadow Titan's armor was not like anything seen before. It absorbed energy attacks, repelled physical strikes, and emitted pulses that destabilized Titan's shields. Emma realized that brute force alone would not work. They needed strategy. Using the neural link, Emma guided Titan to exploit the Shadow Titan's own momentum. As the black giant neared Earth's atmosphere, Titan leaped into the sky, dodging a crushing blow that would have flattened entire cities. It moved like a dancer in zero gravity, calculating every strike, every block, every step. Emma's mind raced, syncing with the machine's reactions. Its chest core, she yelled. Focus there. Titan's glowing red chest pulsed, and a beam of energy shot upward, colliding with the Shadow Titan's chest. Sparks and arcs of blue light exploded in the void. The shockwave shattered mountains, and for the first time, Shadow Titan staggered. From Earth, Hayes watched the monitors as the battle unfolded in orbit and high atmosphere. It's working, he murmured, voice trembling. Titan is holding it off. Emma felt exhaustion creeping in, but she forced herself to stay connected. We can't let it touch the cities, she warned. We control its movements. Every second counts. Titan shifted, using gravity manipulation to hurl the Shadow Titan into space, slowing it but not destroying it. Emma felt a cold presence in her mind, Shadow Titan's awareness probing, testing her connection. She shivered. It knows we're alive, Titan said calmly. We must be stronger. Below, humans could only watch the sky as the battle raged. Energy streaks cut across clouds, lightning erupted from the Earth itself, and auroras danced in impossible patterns. The planet seemed to respond to Titan, aligning itself against the Shadow Titan. Emma realized that Earth itself had become a weapon in the war, linked to the Guardian and its shadow. But one thought terrified her: this was only the beginning. For every Titan, there could be another shadow waiting. For every victory, there would be new threats in the galaxy. As the Shadow Titan retreated slightly, battered but not destroyed, Emma whispered to Titan, "We'll finish this, together." Its eyes glowed brighter, resonating with her determination. Together, human. For Earth. For all life. The first true confrontation between Guardian and Shadow had begun, and the stakes were higher than ever. The galaxy would soon see that Earth was no longer a target, it was a fortress, alive and unwilling to yield. The world below trembled as Shadow Titan hovered just above the atmosphere, its black form towering over clouds and mountains, darkening the sky. Energy storms raged around it, lightning dancing along its body, as if the planet itself was trying to resist its presence. Emma Clark's mind was fully linked to Titan, guiding every movement, every strike. Her body trembled with exhaustion, but she could feel the heartbeat of the Earth sinking with Titan's power. "We end this now," she whispered. Titan's eyes glowed red, pulsing like a drum of war. Acknowledged. Engagement, total. The two Titans faced each other across the stratosphere, a gap of hundreds of kilometers. Shadow Titan's voice, cold and ancient, echoed across the planet. "Your protector is nothing. Humanity is mine to crush." Titan responded with a thunderous roar, shaking the air for miles. "You will not touch them." The first strike came like a meteor. Shadow Titan swung its massive arm down toward the Antarctic, intending to crush Titan where it had risen from. Titan leaped, propelled by raw energy, dodging the blow by mere meters. Emma's mind raced, controlling the machine's movements, calculating angles and force. "Hit its legs," she instructed. "Destabilize its balance." Titan swung its own arm, a blade of energy slicing across Shadow Titan's armor. Sparks and blue energy arcs exploded in the void, shaking the surrounding clouds. The Shadow Titan stumbled slightly, but recovered instantly, its counterattack sending a pulse that ripped through the atmosphere. The winds howled, storms whipped across continents, and even from thousands of miles away, humans could feel the pressure on the ground. Titan rose higher, now in orbit, matching the Shadow Titan's movements. Emma guided the machine, pushing it to limits she never imagined possible. "Use the planet's field," she urged. Titan extended its arms outward, drawing energy from Earth's magnetic field. Lightning arced across the globe, striking the Shadow Titan, disrupting its systems momentarily. The Black Titan roared, retaliating with gravitational pulses that bent space around them. Satellites fell from orbit, storms intensified, and mountains shook. Earth itself was now a battlefield, but Titan and Emma worked as one, moving faster, striking harder, protecting humanity below. The Shadow Titan lashed out with its core energy, a beam of black-blue plasma aimed directly at Titan's chest. Emma focused, pushing Titan to counter. "Absorb and redirect." Titan's core flared, the red light intensifying as it absorbed the impact and channeled it upward. The beam exploded into the upper atmosphere, scattering energy into space. Shadow Titan staggered again, more visibly now, its armor cracking under the force. "We're breaking through," Emma thought, her mind merging fully with Titan's senses. Focus on its chest core, its power source. Titan adjusted trajectory, charging directly at the Black Titan, speed faster than light seemed to allow, energy blazing around its body like a burning sun. The two collided with a thunderous shockwave that rippled across the globe. Cities shook, seas churned, and skies ignited with fire and light. Titan's chest aligned with Shadow Titan's core, and a massive pulse erupted, tearing through the black armor. The Shadow Titan screamed, a sound felt more than heard, echoing in minds across Earth. Its wings of energy disintegrated, and the machine began to falter. Emma could feel its intent, its will to destroy, but now, it was fighting against its own failing systems. "Push harder," she shouted internally. Titan's fists pounded repeatedly, each strike perfectly calculated, until Shadow Titan's movements slowed, its energy flickering erratically. From Earth, the soldiers and scientists in Antarctica watched in awe as Titan, now fully empowered by Emma and the planet, unleashed its final attack. The entire magnetic field of Earth flowed through the machine, focusing into a beam brighter than the sun, aimed straight at the Shadow Titan. The Black Titan tried to resist, swinging wildly, but the energy was too overwhelming. Sparks flew, armor cracked, and then, with a final deafening roar, the Shadow Titan exploded, its remnants scattering into space. Silence followed, broken only by the whistling wind and the hum of Titan's stabilizing systems. Titan hovered above Earth, exhausted but victorious. Its energy faded slowly, the red core dimming to a soft blue. Emma disconnected the neural link, gasping for breath. She fell to her knees, staring at the giant machine. Titan's eyes flickered one last time, glowing faintly, and a deep voice resonated, calm and warm. "Threat neutralized. Humanity preserved." Emma smiled, tears streaming down her face. "You did it, Titan," she whispered. "We did it." General Hayes and the team outside reached her via comms. "It's over," Hayes said softly. "The planet is safe, for now." Even as the world celebrated, Emma knew the galaxy would not remain silent. The architects had warned them, and remnants of their forces were scattered across distant systems. Titan had saved Earth, but other Titans and Shadows might exist. The Guardians were awakening, and so were the threats. Humanity had survived, stronger and wiser, bonded with its protector, but the universe was vast and full of danger. Emma looked at Titan, standing silently in the Antarctic, the rising sun reflecting off its armor. "We'll be ready," she said quietly. Titan's eyes flickered faintly, almost as if it understood, and the world beneath them slowly began to rebuild. Above the horizon, the sky cleared, and for the first time in months, sunlight bathed the frozen plains. Humanity had faced extinction, the wrath of alien architects, and the shadow of death itself, and endured. Yet in the distance, faint signals echoed through space, carried by the debris of the fallen architects. The galaxy had learned one undeniable truth: Earth was not a weak world. It was defended by humans who refused to yield, and by a Titan who would rise whenever it was needed. Emma stood beside the machine, the wind whipping her hair, and whispered, "No one will ever provoke us again." Titan's faint hum responded like an echo of her words, the Guardian ready, watching, and waiting. The final confrontation had ended, but the story of Earth, and its Guardians, was far from over. The galaxy would remember this day, the day humans and their Titan stood against the impossible, and won.